Hi. Regards to, it's been circulating. There's a few things circulating around these big sellers. Obviously, they draw an attention, and sometimes the things can go wrong. In regards to 300-point inspection, our 300-point inspection takes between, on average, 2 hours. It's a questionable, obviously, what they do physically check and how good are they. Let's say more would be paint thickness reports, paint thickness readings to see whether the vehicle's been, whether the vehicle's bodywork has previously been resprayed or repaired, and if that is repaired to the good standard. Highly likely they will report those issues, and most of the times any bodywork issues mostly are not advised, or the information is not passed to the seller, and that is simply can be a simple misdescription about a vehicle. But regards to why they're getting on a watchdog is, end of the day, it's a used vehicle. Depends how old is that vehicle, and there are thousands of vehicles. There's nearly 8 million vehicles sold every year, and it comes to the point how good vehicles they're picking up. Obviously, those major players, they will handpick the best cars in the market. Mostly, they will have the right contracts to be able to secure the vehicles and with certain quantities, which smaller dealers would not be able to physically actually do. And that starts from there. How good is that vehicle? How well it will be prepped. But they come into the complaints. There always will be complaints. The people always complain, and the reason why they mainly complain is simply they don't do their due diligence. They're simply ordering the vehicle online. They believe what the seller says. At the end of the day, everyone has to understand it is a used vehicle. That used vehicle could be owned by the minicab driver, let's say, or it could be a rental company. It could be somebody would have a bakery business, and that would be owned by the business user. It could be, let's say, hypothetically, an Amazon driver, right? And let's say they all drive, let's say, Audi TT, right? And every one of those users would be driving, maintaining, and looking after the vehicle completely differently. So, as a fact, it will affect overall vehicle condition. Look at the external look, internal look, handling, tires. Depends again how well that vehicle been looked after, how well it looks. Starting from small blemishes to scratches to broken trims or maybe dents and scratches. Then that vehicle at some point goes back to. Let's say that vehicle is on lease. It's on a 3 years. Highly unlikely. Nowadays, would say 90% buy vehicles on a contract hire, or just on a standard lease, and then they're going back at the end of the term, right? And again, you paying the lease company for the repairs you would assume they would carry out, or unless you get them done to the very good standard end of the lease. The report, standard report under and I forgot the place, how it's called. There is a standard in what sort of acceptable visual, internal and external condition vehicle should be at end of the lease inspection. Basically, there are some scratches, the lengths of the scratches on alloys and on panels. So let's say there are some issues in the vehicle and it's been taken back without you paying, or you might pay. They will bill you end of it. If there's certain scratches or dents are basically over the limit. So if that, let's say you pay them the money and then the vehicle doesn't get those repairs done, right? And then it basically goes to the auction, and then obviously you, as a buyer, let's say as a second owner of that vehicle, after the first 3 years of owning, somebody been leasing this vehicle, or 2 years or 4 years, depends on the term. I'm talking about brand new cars. So that means it starts from that loop. Once that vehicle goes back, and if the lease company has high standards, they will get all those little, let's say, wear and tear issues or drivability issues sorted, like stone chips, dents, dings, scratches, alloy wheels, curb marks, which are more than not more, but which are not excessive, and under those end of lease inspection checks. So that means if they all are done, again, that will be subject by previous owner as well, how good he would be looking after this vehicle across the term. You know, how many dings and scratches, curb marks, and stone chips. I think I mentioned dings or dents or scratches, scrapes, etc. would generally that vehicle would encounter around the bodywork, right? Because when it comes back, that means sometimes if there's a lot of excessive wear, excessive usability marks, and sometimes you could end up respraying panels, and maybe sometimes you could end up respraying the whole side of the vehicle, let's say, right, and bumpers and etc. So that overall quality, when it comes to the major retailers, after that cycle of the people using it as new, right? So that will define that vehicle's general condition, you know. What I said about the looks and visual drivability has been looked after. So there will be those people who I mentioned before, they've been driving the Audi TT, let's say, for those 4 years, and it goes back. So one will have many external issues, light scratches, which you can't really polish it out anymore, and it's not that great anymore. And maybe that vehicle will be selling for fair price, and you just buying and you assuming, oh, the car has a good price, let's say, and you're buying this vehicle, and then you're not happy. Something else is not right. Maybe the quality control fails, and it's not just simply up to your standard. All the issue simply starts when person expectations are too high, and he's buying a car on a lower market value, pretty much, right? And sometimes not everyone is perfect. There will always be that 10%, up to 10%, some which is not really that perfect. Is whether you are told about this at the time of purchase, or you find out later and then you're not happy. That's where the most disagreements start, and it mainly starts with people who normally paying more than they should be paying for the vehicle in general, and their assumptions are too high, and then something goes wrong, which technically it isn't reasonably satisfactory condition. It just needs a bit of attention. Sometimes maybe the vehicle's been parked for some time in a yard, and then people complaining about, oh, vehicle arrives, warning lights on. I mean, you just need the battery to drain, and then we'll bring some warning lights on, etc. Something could go wrong, and it could trigger certain things, and the people in general are not happy. So that will be, everyone will have those complaints, right? So coming back to that 300-point checks, I haven't seen any checks what they actually physically do on those 300-point checks, you know. I've got no idea, but regards, when we carry out those checks, everything is written. It's more like opinion-based advisory for you, so you understand what you're going to be buying, you know, and so you know any issues on a vehicle before you purchase the vehicle. So at least then you can get ready. You can warm up, you know, jump around, warm up, get the right price, or get them to rectify those issues, instead of buying something online and then it gets delivered to you and then you're not happy. That's where all the problem starts, you know. So because in a way, it is your responsibility, you know. Seller have to sell the vehicle in a satisfactory condition, right? The satisfactory condition is hypothetical in terms of in a consumer rights, right? Everyone will interpret satisfactory condition completely different, as there's no definition, you know. In a way, somebody is based on personal sort of values and standards you have general in life, you know, what you accept, what you don't accept, you know. That's how it will simply define a satisfactory condition. But obviously when the things are faulty, they are faulty, you know, and it is a used vehicle. There will be, pretty much in every single used vehicle, there will be something, right? It's just but you know, anything will sell, any quality will sell if it has the right price, and if you have been told about it, informed about it, and you can make the right decision overall about that vehicle's condition. So the point, in my opinion, all of the regards to all of the retailers like Cazoo, Cinch, Motorpoint, Car Shop, Big Motoring World, Main Dealer used approved car sellers, right, themselves, franchises. So what do I want to say? Yeah, back to those 300-point checks. If that 300-point check done prior sale and then after what's been actually rectified, and then you can see, and it is made in an informative way as a conditional report, so you can understand what was the condition initially, what's been done and what's been rectified. So technically that will be an enhancement report to the vehicle, because technically if none of them think smart, you know, because what they're selling, they're just selling something as a vehicle, but they don't selling what's been actually done to the vehicle. So it's a wrong approach. That 300-point check should be used as a sales enhancement, as you creating added value. What have you done to the vehicle? What you have improved? What has been wrong? Because everyone understands it's a used car. It might have some dings. It might have wing resprayed, right? For the reason, as long as then the customer knows you stand out, you are transparent. If the customer has doubts, just ask them to book a car inspection and double check for them, you know. So that's what the sellers, they don't understand. They don't want to hassle. They just want to, for all of them, it's end of the day, it's just a used car, you know. And obviously I'm just going round and round the circles, right? But regards to these people, they get in attraction, you know, so they get known in the market. They're jumping in, promising things, and obviously you will have like BBC Watchdog on anything challenging things, getting consumer complaints in, you know, and they obviously want to make basically a content, right? Bad news sells. Everyone starts slagging them off. But regards to the used vehicles, everyone will have some bad vehicles. Everyone will have quality control issues. All of these big corporations has performance standards. All of these people who touch something to that vehicle, they've been checked and measured and constantly bombarded when the car will be ready, when it's gonna get done, or we need to have less expenditure on those vehicles, you know, or we spending too much on these preparations, you know. So as a result of all these performance margins and targets, you know, when you work in your corporation or your company, you know what they keep banging around. The management bangs around what the people on top of the saying when the figures get in shit, you know. So take that same process to the people who are actually prepping those vehicles. Seller's job simply sells something. He doesn't really care. Remember, salespeople has the biggest bonuses from selling the car, from selling you any insurances, any additional products. That's how they top in their wage package, and that's how they feel bigger than anyone else, because you have a sales manager and they just clapping around, dancing around how they're selling vehicles to kind of really not silly people, right? Who just believe what they're saying, so that's why you have to be careful. They selling, that is their job, they're earning money, and there's nothing wrong with that, right? But it doesn't always happen in an ethical way. It doesn't always happen to the benefit to you, because you are held as a hostage, because you've always been told there's other people looking on a vehicle, etc. And then you're just jumping around, getting an excitement, speaking with finance company. They'll say, yes, we got this vehicle, we'll get this ready, But end of the day, every one of you are forgetting vehicles overall condition, because if you buy in a car and you'll be unhappy, you will always be losing money. I can guarantee you, one way or the other way, because you will be buying insurance, you will be buying road tax to that vehicle, maybe something else you might be, maybe something else you will buy, and you will always be losing money, and the main thing of that is not maybe always the money, but you'll be losing your time, your effort, countless nights of stress, because you haven't done your due diligence. You haven't checked that vehicle's condition against what the salesperson is saying, against what the company is saying. It doesn't matter, it's a main dealer, car supermarkets as these, or it doesn't matter how you're buying, whether you're buying online, whether you have to see the vehicle or not. Main thing is you have to get somebody who can inspect that vehicle for you, and you can make the right decision, and that's what we do. You can buy it online, but make sure you send a professional person who does this for a living on an everyday basis to protecting your interests, because on CarExamer we work for you. My main goal, and everyone else who looks after the customer interest, is to protect you, to make sure you're getting the best deal, to make sure if there are any issues, like software updates. I'm talking about newer vehicles, like up to 3 years old. Servicing is done, timing belt is done, and if anything else which is not acceptable is carried out, and sometimes you go in this dilemma where yes, it's a silly thing, but as long as you know these silly things, and then you can make adjustments according to it, so that's the point. What we do here to make sure when you buy a vehicle, you have less inconvenience as possible dealing with the seller, and you have actually facts and books and figures, as we provide potential repair costs. So you are fully informed, and you can have a counter argument based on facts, and you can have a then one-to-one conversation based on he's selling the vehicle and you buying the vehicle, and once you have the powered information, then you are equal, so you can now talk about what you know. He needs a transaction from you, you need a car from him in a condition satisfactory for you, taking obviously in consideration age and mileage and overall condition, exterior, interior, mechanical condition of the engine, gearbox, electrical system condition, which is governed through the diagnostic scanner, scanning all the systems of the vehicle. which you would never know. And I can guarantee you most of those 300-point checks doesn't even include those checks, as they would not check it. I'm pretty much 99% certain they would not have it. They will not extensive drive road test as what we provide, the way we drive it, so they're never done to your standard, to your interest. They're done to they have to do certain things, to the vehicle. Obviously they want to raise the bar. 300-point check will take up to 2 hours on every single vehicle, pretty much, done to the customer's interest, including road test, 2 diagnostic scans, vehicle is raised, taking a video for you, taking checking structural areas, taking paint thickness readings of every single panel, and putting across in a software program where you can actually see that report, to see the paint thicknesses yourself, not just somebody telling you something, what was the reading or something like that. So you can actually see that and discuss that with the inspector. So what you should be wary about, what should be addressed, which is the fair, which is maybe would be unfair to the seller, but at least you will have the information. Remember, it's a used car, it will break down. So that means, what I mean by that, even after inspection the car can break down, because the inspection is to assess the vehicle's general condition at the time of the purchase or at the time of the inspection. So what I'm talking about that, why I'm saying that, because you have to protect yourself. Reason pretty much most of the manufacturers' warranty expires up to 100,000 miles or after 3 years. Certain manufacturers has 5 years unlimited mileage warranty, or 7 years, 100,000 miles or 120. There are exceptions. So new cars break down, they have warranty from manufacturer. So used car is not an exception, it will break down, more often than a brand new car, until it goes through that initial life cycle. So that means you need appropriate extended warranty. It can be main dealers one, or there are so many brokers where you can obtain the warranty to make sure it is relevant up to the amount of you buying the vehicle. The more expensive the vehicle, obviously the more claim value per claim should have on that vehicle, because it will have engine repairs will be more expensive, etc. And you're more likely on a newer car you will not put second-hand engine in, or refurbished. You would want remanufactured engine, when we come to reasonably new car. So make sure you always protect yourself, look after your interest. Remember, every problem starts with you and you not checking the vehicle, you ignoring facts, you just jumping on a bandwagon, buying a car. Maybe you just seen the car quickly enough because you're under stress, you're under illusion, and when you're buying a vehicle, you have a bit more time to actually check the bodywork, or you're gonna wash it and you're gonna start noticing certain things what you ain't happy about, because you haven't checked it even yourself. Remember, at a certain when you're there, you're stressed, right? And you're looking at the vehicle, the shine's so bright and the car is white, it reflects your eyes, you can't see certain things, you would not see maybe some panel alignments, etc. So don't get too excited. It's a used car. Check 5 times and then buy. That's the best I can say. And you then, once you will buy the right car, you will have less problems and less arguments with the seller initially. Make sure you are on the right car. You buy the car you can afford, which is not out of your budget league. So you can also include the maintenance cost, how much that vehicle would cost you during that lease. You taking the vehicle out, during that time, how much you will have to pay for the servicing. Certain things you can just simply phone to the seller, to the main dealer, find out how much it is, or you can use some websites where you can just generally get an idea of major service price and an interim service price as an understanding, and put those on a paper, make the right decision. Same as comes with the rest of the maintenance, disc and pads, tires, etc. Protect yourself and don't be loser. Be smart and make sure you check the vehicle before you actually buy, whether it's online, private, direct, when you go to the dealer and see the car. Never buy the car on the first day, because you'll make a mistake. Reach out, have a look on our inspection packages on CarExamer.com. Peace. If you do have some questions, put them below, and I will try to answer it for you. Let me switch this off. Every time the TikTok adding so much new stuff on it, it just gets a bit distracting. Peace.